Welcome to the Narrate podcast, where we aim to tell God's story with our lives. We'll be continuing to post the Sunday message each week, but we want to dive a little deeper and offer some content to supplement your life with God, and that's where our Beyond Sunday series comes in. Join Adam and Narrate staff as they provide thoughtful discussions, ideas, and interviews that go beyond the message you'll hear on Sunday.
Let's call it Doing Change Better. We'll see. I've been torn on whether or not to do this series, but it just feels like it fits with January.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like the New Year's resolution time.
Right. Yeah. And so I think the goal is to more hit on the grief side of New Year's resolutions.
Oh, interesting. Say more about that.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if I hadn't thought of that before, but like New Year's resolutions are predicated upon I control change. Mm-hmm. And I think the focus of this, which is largely like the launching pad for me, was that stuff Bishop Todd did.
Oh.
That series that he did. What did he call it? Theology of Change.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because to me that seemed more like the grief side of change, like the changes that you don't control.
Right.
And it's not been hard to lay that lens over the Bible and see that once again it's kind of everywhere.
Right.
So
yeah. You'll
just be coming back from all kinds of change.
I know, yeah. So that's going to be very fitting for our life.
Would you say you're naturally a good change person?
No. I don't like change.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the control thing, I think, is why I typically don't. I mean, I like change if I get to decide when it happens and,
Right,
and
totally.
In what way, in what level. And
which is also what makes you a visionary leader, right? Because I think in the same way, like it's two sides of the same coin.
Sure.
The person who is a strategic thinker, the person who likes to plan.
Sure. That's fair.
But yeah, there's an underbelly.
So do you think it can be like a skill that you develop, kind of like the managing fear thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely somebody who likes to control things with my head. And so for me, there's an empowerment that comes once I have a like a cognitive structure for something or an understanding of something. And so I think that's for me what stood out in studying these different people and their thinking around the theology of change was there are some recognizable patterns to change that and that I think can function as inspiring and also in the midst of the chaos. Because I mean, I think the part that probably the thing I'm most excited to explore that Todd talked about was that statement, it's not the changes that kill us, it's the transitions.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, what resonated for you about that?
Well, it's just so true. It's not, because you do always think of the whatever the change is as the big thing, but it's not. The more you think about it, the more you're like, oh yeah, it's the whatever's leading up to that or the in-between of the big, I mean, like birth, for example, that's like where we're at. Like there's so much prep involved in like this one day thing, and yeah, you can be buried in anxiety and all of these things that are like out of your control, or you can like, do that better, I guess, and, turn toward God and try to find ways to deal with it better. But it really is only one day.
Right.
For months of.
But the transition is going to be, I mean, in some sense, the rest of your life, which is kind of the point that they're making is we're in a constant state of transition, but there are these static moments. Right. So when it comes to the transition of motherhood and familyhood, what are you most nervous about? I mean, this will be interesting to hear this 2 months from now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because honestly, you don't know what you don't know. But I think like us being a little bit older, or at least like most people we know do have kids already. We've just gotten to see like so much parenthood and so much like, which is great, but it also is like it kind of like gives pressure too, because it's like, oh, you want to like do a good job and like not fall in the pitfalls of your family of origin that you didn't care for, but then you know, it's just, you have so much. It's like our age of information, you know, like you can access everything on the internet, but it's kind of like that in real life. Like everybody has kids already, so you're like, yeah, we want to be like them, or we don't want to be like them, you know, like,
yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Which is, it's good to have heroes.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I could see. And it's also good to be humbled. I mean, to me, that's when I listen to you and Jonathan talk about that, I'm like, you're going to be fine because you're going to parent out of who you are.
Sure.
Which isn't going to be perfect, but it'll be awesome. That doesn't, it's kind of like saying to the kid going off to college, it's going to be fine. Like it doesn't do justice to the transition that has to occur. And that's, I think, the part of this, and also the notion that, like, you think about Joseph in Genesis or Esther or Mary, I mean, just about any of the heroes, they lived in that state of disorientation, or what did, I think one of the other authors call it just that liminal space.
Oh, yeah.
In some cases for like decades. I mean, Mary, for 33 years, she kind of lived in this suspended, what is happening kind of space.
Yeah.
But that's been a helpful construct to just know that, yeah. And I think that is what, I don't know that this is supposed to be about parenting, but I do think that is part of what makes parenting hard, is there's a change followed by a transition. And I forget who it was that I first heard say it, but I think it's brilliant that the minute you figure it out with parenting, you lose it again. So there's these constant changes followed by the static event of change, followed by these long moments of transition. I mean, the Joseph story, I almost just did this series just from Joseph, because when you read that story, there's just so much beauty in the way it feels like you get this panoramic, or not even panoramic, this like removed, this 30,000 foot view of change and transition, because certainly there must have been some raw emotion for Joseph. We don't always get a lot of insight into that.
Right.
Seems like the most we get is at the very end of the story when he just breaks down. But at the same time, you see God's faithfulness to him, but his desire to be faithful to God, all kind of working together.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
yeah.
And you guys are kind of like dealing with your own change with kids leaving the house, but it's like more of a transition. It's not just like boom, they're gone. Like, is this change series resonating with you guys, with any of that?
I think so. I mean, I think that, I think in general the concepts so far have helped me. One of my anxieties with this series has been that it parallels too closely with the one that we're in.
Oh, sure.
Because change is ultimately a fear thing. And even as I'm saying that, I'm like, oh man, I could just scrap the whole series and do one message and wrap up the fear series that way, because I do think that. But I think for me the goal. So there is a lot of transition, and I think in keeping with the principles of change versus transition. I mean, JR moved out, August 17th or something? So we're coming up on, we're past 2 months, but then the last 2 months have just been so busy that in some ways it doesn't feel like we've ever really landed in a new normal. But then when I say that, I'm like, well, that's what it's going to be like for you when you bring home a newborn, and then next thing you know, he's 2 months old. So I think that is part of the point. But yeah, there's been, and actually, I think in many ways it's been, for us on the personal side, it's been good. I feel like Teresa made the comment recently, we were leaving somewhere, she's like, I feel like when we were doing youth ministry again, like I just have such a bigger bandwidth for people. But now we're both starting to think like, but we might have overcompensated for that, and our calendars are too full.
Fair, yeah.
So trying to find, and then the same thing happens to all of us, and the next thing you know, it'll be Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, and the next thing you know, it's like mid-January, and you're craving routine, and so it's all these things.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about for this series, though, is just to kind of name here's some of the principles that happen with change, and then pull alongside that the inspiration of stories like Joseph and Esther, which I think really provide these really awesome waypoints of change, and then then we're going to finish by just looking at time and the human propensity to fear an unknown future. There's a psalm of, he has no fear of bad news. I don't even know the reference off the top of my head, but it's something I memorized years ago. He has no fear of bad news. His heart is steadfast, trusting in the Lord. Like, again, people with our kind of orientation to the world, the unknown future. James, listen, you who say today or tomorrow we're going to go to this or that city, make money, blah, blah, blah. And what you should be saying is if it's the Lord's will, which I've always kind of found as an annoying Christian platitude. But now I'm starting to see the deeper heart behind that statement of maybe protecting yourself from these pre-designed things that you have to have.
Fair.
I don't know.
Fair.
But
so this is in January, and it's 3 weeks?
Yep. So we'll start, I guess this doesn't matter for this. Yeah, so we always do, the last, will this be the 4th year we've done Theophany, that first Sunday in January? Maybe it's the 3rd. And try to take a really intentional look at the Trinity and why, and then why that's such an important thing. And then we'll start the series on the 12th. So 12, 19, 26. So it'll be quick. And then we're getting into the lectionary, which I'm actually really excited for.
Yeah, because it will have been since before these last 2 series.
Yeah. Anything else you want to get into from this?
I don't think so.
Sweet.
If you'd like to learn more about Narrate Church, find us online at narratechurch.org.
You can also look us up on Facebook or Instagram. Thanks for listening.